friend, that's you sniffing? Are you sick? You got a cold? The flu? Don't even worry about it. I got something for you. I'll be right back. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marta, and I'm the chef and author of Sense and Edibility, which is a site where I teach people everything I know about cooking, baking, and cocktail making. And in today's video, I want to show you a recipe that I should have shown you a long time ago because it is one of the most popular recipes on my site. My medicine bomb chicken soup. I also like to call it my medicinal chicken soup. I developed the recipe for my medicine bomb chicken soup when my husband was deployed to the Middle East. I was home alone, homeschooling twins, and still running a cake decorating and catering business. And I got hit with the flu, and I was down bad, you guys. Everything hurt. I ached everywhere. I had sore muscles. My throat felt like it was raw. My head felt like it was going to explode. My chest hurt every time I breathed. I went into the kitchen and pulled, literally, I felt like I was pulling everything out of the refrigerator and the pantry that I knew had certain healing properties. I wanted all the things to go into the soup that I knew would calm down the inflammation, that would kind of bust down any bacteria or free radicals that were jumping around in my body. And I also wanted the benefits of bone broth, which is the collagen, which is allowing me to feel, which is, you know, that it feels like you're consuming something, but you're not, right? You're just drinking. So I want to show you this video because so many people have let me know how much it's helped them when they've gotten sick or got the flu. I am not saying it's going to cure you, but it will make you feel a little bit better. Before we get into the video though, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and sign up to receive notifications. That way every time I post a new video like this one, you will be notified. Now let me show you my medicine bomb chicken. There's nothing here. My medicine bomb chicken soup. Before we actually make the soup, I want to show you the ingredients that are in it and tell you the reasons why I chose to use them in this soup. We have olive oil. I'm not going to show you that. Olive oil has antioxidants and it's an anti-inflammatory ingredient. Inflammation is what causes us to feel stuffy and achy, especially in our rib cage when we get those colds that go to our chest. That's what causes a lot of discomfort, is inflammation. But we also have onion. You can use white or yellow onion. Onion also has antioxidants. It's anti-inflammatory. It's high in vitamin C, which is good for a strong immune system. And it produces collagen, which is good for skin. I'm also using garlic, which improves immune function and also aids against colds. This is good for heart health too. Ginger is another anti-inflammatory ingredient. It reduces nausea. So if you're feeling sick when you get a cold or the flu or COVID, you can take this to kind of soothe your stomach. It also lowers blood pressure, which for some of us who have hypertension, this is a good ingredient to include in your recipes. It's also good for heart health. We're also using turmeric, which is an anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. If you don't know what an antioxidant is, it's a compound that fights damage from free radicals. And free radicals have been linked to chronic diseases or illnesses. So that's the reason why you want to incorporate antioxidant ingredients or ingredients that contain antioxidants in your food whenever you're feeling like crap. In general, you can just add them to your diet and it'll benefit you. Celery is another ingredient that I like to use in this recipe. It also contains antioxidants and vitamin K, which builds healthy bones. It also has folate, which helps form red blood cells, which delivers oxygen to our blood. It also contains fiber. Fiber helps get rid of the muck in your body. Carrots are high in fiber as well. They contain vitamin K and potassium, which helps with muscular aches. Additionally, we're going to be using lemongrass, which is another anti-inflammatory. Some research studies show it has some infection prevention components or capabilities. Rosemary is another herb I like to use in this recipe. It's an antioxidant, contains antioxidants, anti-inflammatory. Thyme, which is this herb here. Thyme has antibacterial and antifungal properties and also anti-inflammatory properties. And this is oregano. It has antioxidants, it has antibacterial qualities, antiviral, and anti-inflammatory properties. This is a bay leaf. I don't always use this in the recipe, but I had some fresh ones, so I decided to use that. Bay leaf also has anti-inflammatory properties. I like using this whenever I have fresh bay leaf, but this isn't required for this recipe. Of course, we need chicken to make a chicken soup. Chicken has protein, which builds muscle. It also contains tryptophan, which is an amino acid that's linked to serotonin, which is a feel-good hormone. So if you're feeling kind of bummy, you know, eating some chicken soup may make you feel better. Chicken also contains vitamin B12, zinc, and iron, which is great for your blood. Our spices are salt. I'm using kosher salt, but you can also use sea salt. Salt contains electrolytes, which can help if you've been vomiting too much or you've been throwing up. It just kind of restores the electrolytes that you've lost. Black pepper contains pipene, pipene, which is an antioxidant that helps lower the risk of chronic illnesses. Oh, pepper also helps aid in digestion and kind of helps with bloating, which, you know, kind of makes you feel horrible. Star anise has antimicrobial properties. It fights against antibiotic resistant bacteria in studies. So when I read that, I was like, oh, I got some star anise, so I'm gonna use it because I think I got some bacterial that is resistant to antibiotics, but I wasn't quite sure. Yeah, so these are the ingredients in my medicine bomb chicken soup. Let me show you how I make it. First thing I want to tell you is you need a big pot. You need a 12 to 14 quart stock pot. Plop that bad boy on the stove, heat it over medium-high heat, and add the olive oil to the pot and allow it to heat for about 30 seconds. And then you want to add in your sliced onions. Break them up as you're adding them in so that they're not as clumped together as they are when you slice them. Follow that with the sliced garlic and the sliced ginger. Now, I like to caramelize my vegetables before I start getting into the soup. Technically, this is a dump and cook recipe. You can dump everything in the pot if you're absolutely like struggling and you need something to eat. But I like caramelizing the veggies because it adds a level of flavor when you brown anything. Next, I'm adding in the sliced turmeric, and I'm following that with the sliced carrots and the sliced celery. Again, building flavor means you just saute everything for a little while, get that browning going on at the bottom of the pan. Now, I don't know why I didn't show you this when I was showing you the ingredients, but you need to bruise your lemongrass to kind of break up the fibers and allow it to extract more flavor as it cooks. Usually you can do that with the butt of your kitchen knife. Just lay the lemongrass on the counter and just smack it with the butt of your knife, the heel of your knife, to bruise it. And then you're going to add that along with the rosemary and the oregano and the thyme. If you're using dry ingredients, you just toss it all in. You can toss it in with the water. Add cold water. If you have distilled or filtered water, even better. Avoid using hot water because it adds impurities to your soup. Follow that with the bay leaf and then all the chicken pieces. Now, I got a chicken that was way too big, and you're going to see why that's a problem. But you want to add every piece of chicken. That was the backbone. Include the chicken back because there's fat, there's collagen, there's nutrients and stuff we want to get from all of that chicken. This is the reason why you should only buy like a 3, 4, maybe 5 pound bird. This was a 6 pound bird. I think it was almost 6.5 pounds. And look how close the water is to the top. Yeah, avoid that. Add the salt, the pepper, and the star anise. And you're going to bring this all to a boil after you stir it really well. Once it comes to a boil, you're going to notice some foam. Looks like a foam party in Miami. Exactly like that because it's kind of grimy and gross. But you're going to want to skim that off. That's all the impurities from the chicken bones and the chicken skin coming to the surface of the soup. Try to avoid scooping up ingredients that you want to keep. You want to get those little flecks of white weird stuff and the foam. Get all that off, and then you're going to give it a stir and reduce the heat to low and allow this to simmer for an hour. That is it. That's all that's required of this soup. I know you're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's it. You should probably remove these big hunks of chicken because nobody wants to try to eat a chicken wing with broth dripping down their arm. I take out all the chicken and I shred it later. You can use that in pot pie recipes if you want to make chicken salad, or if you have a dog or a pet and you want to give it some chicken, give him some chicken. I usually strain my soup. So what you want to do is take a bowl, a large bowl or another pot, and you want to set a colander inside the pot or a strainer and line it with a towel that you really don't care about. This towel I usually use to crack coconuts, but I'm going to use it to strain this soup because I want a clear broth this time. I often just serve this soup, just ladle it straight out of the pot and eat it with the veggies and all that stuff. I do remove the herbs. With the herbs, you can actually tie them all together into a bundle. This is called a bouquet garni, and you dump it, like you just put it in the soup and you can tie it to the handle and then just pluck it out and it takes all the stems out. But I didn't do it this time because I knew I was going to strain it. So once you get all the veggies, everything that's in the pot into the towel, you want to gather up the four corners of the towel and just lift it. Allow gravity to do most of the work so you can drain all the broth that's in this soup. Now, doing this, I want to provide a disclaimer that I don't have any feeling in my left arm anymore. So I don't recommend doing this if you're very sensitive to temperatures because it is hot. But what I usually do is I twist the towel and I just kind of squeeze it against the side of the colander with the ladle to extract the rest of that broth. I want to get every bit of liquid out of this. Now, this is a great option if you just need something to get you through the afternoon. You can sip on this chicken soup. It's essentially bone broth as well. And don't be shy about using it in other recipes either. Anything that calls for chicken stock or chicken broth, you can use this. But ultimately, I use this as a healing, nourishing soup whenever we are sick or recovering from surgery or under the weather. Shred the chicken, skin it and shred it, and then add it back into the soup, or you can serve it as is with the veggies and the chicken, or serve it as a clear broth, just like this. I think you're gonna love this soup. Once you taste it, you're gonna understand why it is so popular, and it is one of the most popular recipes on my site and one that people come back to again and again. So you guys know, normally I get up all in your face. Okay. I'm so afraid I'm gonna drop this. Look, real quick. Look, okay. So normally I would be all up in your face eating what I made, but oh my gosh, that's so good. It's so good. It's good, but it's not hot anymore because I waited too. But it's still good, even more. Once you get done making this soup, you're going to see all the little globules of fat protein floating on top of the soup. If you were to refrigerate it, you would see a layer of fat. That is actually what you want because that's where the collagen is. That's good for your skin. If you like my skin or you think I have nice skin elasticity and stuff, bone broth is what you need to be adding to your diet if you haven't already added it. That and water. Anyways, now I'm going to answer some frequently asked questions I get about my medicine bomb chicken soup recipe. Keep the chicken. Even though I got rid of the chicken, I didn't get rid of the chicken, I just removed the chicken from the soup. I didn't throw it away. I will never throw away good food like that. The issue with it though is that it's simmered for so long that it's dry. Yes, chicken that's simmered in liquid can get dry. You just dry out the meat. What I usually do with my chicken from the Medicine Bomb chicken soup is I shred it and then I use it to make chicken salad sandwich or chicken pot pie. Or sometimes I'll shred it really, really well and give it to the dog, to Colorado. But don't get rid of the chicken. Chicken costs money. You pay for it. Get everything you can out of it. I basically cook the life force out of the chicken in this recipe, but it's still usable in other things. I just recommend using it in something that surrounds it in gravy or in a liquid or a dressing like chicken salad sandwich. So don't get rid of the chicken. And you can always add the chicken back into the soup. If you don't care about the texture of chicken, if you don't care if it's a little dry on the palate, add it back into the soup. It's not going to hurt you. It's going to give you more protein, more of that tryptophan that I talked about earlier. It's never a bad idea. I just don't do it because it's really dry after it has simmered for that long period of time. You can use dried turmeric, a half teaspoon of dried turmeric. You can use a teaspoon of dried oregano leaves, thyme leaves, and rosemary leaves in place of the fresh. If you don't have lemongrass or can't get it, you can omit it, but I recommend looking for lemongrass in a Chinese or Asian market. And then once you find it, buy it in bulk and then cut it down and then freeze it, because lemongrass freezes beautifully, as does turmeric and ginger. So if you're not using it frequently, or if it's hard to find and you bump into it, grab those and go ahead and just put it in the freezer for later batches of this medicinal chicken soup. I don't recommend replacing lemongrass with lemon because they don't have the same flavor. Lemongrass is more floral than lemon is. Lemon is very assertive in its flavor. It won't taste horrible, but it just won't do what you want it to do. It won't taste the way you want it to taste. The celery and carrots are optional. You don't have to add them. They do have more anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, but they're not a must for this recipe. The herbs and the spices and the chicken, they are a must for this recipe. So the only thing that I would say is optional are the lemongrass, the carrots, and the celery. Those are ones that you can leave out if you can't find them. And the star anise too, you can leave that out if you can't find it. But all those together kind of add to the flavor of the chicken soup. Truth be told, I hardly ever strain this soup when I make it for us. The only time I have is when the twins had their wisdom teeth extracted. Then I made the chicken soup and I strained it because they were on a liquid only diet for a little while. You don't have to strain this chicken soup. I do remove the stems. You can do that little trick that I said about wrapping it in twine, making the bouquet garni, and just dumping it in there and then just pulling it out when you're done and ready to serve or strain the soup. But for the most part, all I do is fish out those herb stems and that's it. I eat everything. The turmeric slices, the ginger slices, all of that stuff is really, really good to eat because it's added fiber, which you need to keep yourself flowing, right? But no, you don't have to strain the soup if you don't want to. Now, if you do want to strain the soup, but you don't have a kitchen towel that you're willing to mess up because it is going to stain from the turmeric, you can always line a smaller fine mesh strainer with paper towels. I've even done this with coffee filters. So the goal is to just kind of remove everything that is not liquid from the broth or from the chicken soup and give you a nice clear broth. Well, as clear as it's going to get with all the ingredients. So you don't have to use your kitchen towel. You don't have to strain it. You can just ladle it straight out of the bowl or straight out of the pot into your bowl and eat it that way. Yeah, you laugh, but I've got this question 3 times. 3 times somebody has asked me, can I make this chicken soup without chicken? No, because that's tea. You're making tea. You're making herbal tea. You need the chicken to make chicken soup. It's a frequently asked question, so I had to answer it, Yeah, you need chicken. You can't make this vegan. I apologize for that, but you can't. To store this medicine bomb chicken soup, all you need to do is put it in a covered container in the fridge. You can store it for up to a week in the fridge, 7 days, total of 7 days. When you want to heat it or eat it, all you need to do is ladle out the portion that you want, put it in the microwave. I usually microwave it for about a minute and a half because I like my soup burning hot. A minute is sometimes more normal than me, but that's all you need to do, right? If you want to freeze this chicken soup, I would break it down into batches of about 4 cups. I always freeze it in zip top bags, freezer bags. Just ladle it into the bag, put it in a tray or a pan that has sides, lay the soup flat after you seal it. Lay the bag of soup flat in the freezer, put it in the freezer, let it freeze solid, and then once it's frozen solid, you have a slim profile with the bag, and you just put it in your freezer standing up so they're stacked. If you want to make this in bulk, you need a bigger pot, first of all, but you just double the recipe. You can triple the recipe if you have a pot big enough. I do. And then freeze it, gift it, do all the things. I have never canned this chicken soup before. I'm not a canner, so I'm not comfortable with giving instructions on how to can. But if you have ever canned before, just do the same method, follow the same steps as when you canned soup previously. It'll be just fine, I'm sure. You can add pasta, rice, vermicelli noodles like the pho noodles, the noodles you'll find in pho or in bun. I avoid those because usually when we're eating this, somebody is sick or not feeling well. And carbohydrates or gluten don't really add any benefits when you're trying to heal your body. In fact, I think they contribute to inflammation, so it kind of is counterproductive. But if you're only using this to kind of you just want soup, then it's fine to add cooked white rice, wild rice. You can add quinoa or farro or, again, noodles or pasta. Yeah, you can add that. Just add it towards the end. Crank that heat back up to medium and then add whatever you're going to be incorporating into the soup. Let it cook through and then you can serve it just like that to make a chicken noodle soup. Chicken noodle soup. I don't know how to do that here. So you want to not go overboard with the size of your chicken. You notice that when I put my chicken pieces in, I was kissing the top of my stock pot. That's because I used a 6-pound bird when I should have been using a 3 to 5 pound bird. The larger the bird, the more it's going to displace the liquid and you could run over your pot. If you have a bigger pot, it doesn't matter. You can use a bigger bird. But if you have a 12 quart or 14 quart stock pot, then you want to kind of keep the bird around 3 to 4 to top. The max is 5 pound bird. Yes, you can make this with turkey instead of chicken. You're going to definitely need a bigger pot to do so. But you're just going to break down the turkey the same way. The turkey has the same anatomy as a bird or as a chicken. So you'll just break it down the same way or have the butcher break down your turkey and just follow the same instructions, just adding the turkey. And again, you're going to need a bigger pot for a turkey. So I hope you liked this video on how to make my medicine bomb chicken soup or my medicinal chicken soup. It is a must for flu season. I rate how bad flu season is by how many times I had to make this to help somebody get better. And since COVID has been a thing, it has been made frequently in my house because it helps ward off infection and viruses, but it also helps us recover from them very fast. My family, nobody else in my family except for me has had COVID. I don't know if that's wood. This is wood. And I'm not saying this because it's chicken soup. I'm just saying, I'm just proud of that fact for some odd reason. But yeah, make this chicken soup, enjoy this chicken soup. I think you are going to find it's very beneficial and helpful if you get sick, which I'm not wishing on you, but you know, sometimes it happens. So if you liked this video, please like it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, share it with people who may be feeling a little bit under the weather, and bookmark it so that you can come back, or save it, so that you can come back anytime you're feeling ill and need something to kind of get you out of the gunk. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave me a comment below, and also tell me what you do to kind of get over feeling sick whenever you have the flu or the cold. I would love to know. Have a great rest of your day. Stay healthy. Bye.